Welcome to the Powerlifting America press conference for day 11, the final day here at the Classic and Equipped Sub-Junior and Junior World Championships in Romania. First up with the press conference, we've got Trevor Klein and Jacob Breckenridge in the 120 kilo sub-junior weight class. First of all, congratulations to both of you on your huge performances today, for making it this far, for finishing the meet, registering a total, and again, for your great performances today. First things first, I'll go to Trevor. Trevor, take us through the day. I know that you won a gold medal on the bench press, but take us through the whole day. How did it start off with squats? How did it start off with making weight? And then, how did it finish off with deadlifts?
I made weight fairly easily. I was like 10 pounds under, something like that, which is where I was before I left and kind of where I've stayed around for most of my prep. Squats, I opened a little heavy. Depth was like was in the back of my mind the entire time. And I missed my last two because just technical issues. Bench was good. I made a technical mistake on my second and missed it, but then fixed it up on my third and got, bench gold. I was super happy. Not where I wanted to be, but I'll take it. And then deadlifts, which is, what I consider my worst lift. I went for 3 for 3 and hit a 5 kg PR. So I couldn't be happier.
Well, you had a really great performance. I'm happy that you're happy for it. You have competed at the Olympics, right? And was it the Junior Olympics?
I competed at Junior Olympics a month ago today.
A month ago. So you've been on basically the biggest platform in the world with the Olympics, now here at the Junior World Championships. How do the two type of competitions compare to each other?
This one is much like the way it was set up was much better. For Junior Olympics for track, it was kind of like it seemed like an afterthought for my subject of track and field. I didn't do as well as I wanted to either, but I'll be back next year to clean things up.
All right, that's a great attitude to have. And how much more time do you have are you a sub-junior?
For next year as well.
You are as next year? Okay,
Yep.
Great. So you're going to be back here as a sub-junior. You're also a senior in high school, is that right?
Yes.
So high school nationals?
Oh yeah, I'll be back.
All right, awesome. Okay, Jacob. First of all, congratulations to you again. Take us through the day for yourself, starting with weigh-ins.
Weighed in at 117 kilos, so 3 kilos under, which a lot lighter than I thought I'd be. Before I left, I weighed probably 121 kilos, so did good on that. Squats, we started a little late, so it felt very quick and hectic, but I went 3 for 3 and got a little bit less than I wanted to, but still got silver, so pretty happy with that. Got a 15 kilo PR. On the bench, also went 3 for 3. Felt really good. Definitely really happy. Went 3 for 3, 20 kilo PR. Definitely good there. And then on deadlifts, went 2 for 3. Wasn't really happy with the weight I got, but still good, and got 4th overall.
That's amazing. Congratulations. How long have you been competing, Jacob?
My first meet was at Brown's Gym in Pennsylvania in late April of this year, last week of April this year. And then after that, I had like 3 weeks of prep before that meet. And then after that, I had about 7 or 8 weeks until nationals in Arizona, and then after that I've had 11-week prep to here.
That's amazing. Your total is absolutely blowing up. Whatever they're doing at Brown's Gym there is really working out for you. What do you attribute your success so far to?
I think a lot to my coach. I lifted on my own. My personal coach, Jim Brown, I lifted a lot on my own for about a year until I got into powerlifting and started getting injuries, started probably overtraining, so I attribute a lot of my PRs and all my success to my coach, Jim Brown. And I'd say hard work as well. A lot of people, if they're not making the progress they want to, sometimes it just takes a little bit more work, a little bit more focus into what you're doing to succeed.
Great answer. Wise men are yours.
So guys, you've been here all week and have been watching your teammates lift. as well as trying to get ready for your own day of lifting. Could you just tell me a little bit kind of what goes into that, and just kind of the feeling of having to wait around to the last day for you guys to actually compete?
Okay. So a lot of people that were competing, I talked to like over Instagram and stuff, and Eleni, who competed, I didn't get to see her compete, but her and I train at the same gym back at home. But it was good to see like the lifting on social media transfer over to the platform. So I mean, being able to watch was great. It was a little long, but I was happy to be able to see everybody do as best as they can, and a lot of people do very well.
Yeah, it definitely was a wait. I got here Sunday night, so I guess I waited a full week before I competed. But it was good. There's a lot of thought I put into hydration, nutrition. It was kind of hard to get the good nutrition with the resources around me, with like no car and no service, stuff like that. Also, not trying to do anything stupid before biggest meet of your life, not to try and overstimulate your body, like walking too far or doing anything like that. So, and I think the favorite show that I watched before I lifted was the 93 kilo juniors. Definitely a fight, and everybody was deadlifting crazy numbers out there.
Those are both great answers.
So if I'm not mistaken, this is both of y'all's first time on the world stage, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So being in the back with y'all during y'all's meet today, I noticed something that's rather unusual about a lot of first-time athletes, and that is both of you were very, very composed all the way through, from your warm-ups, going through all three squats, regardless of what happened, and regardless of whether you didn't get one or you didn't necessarily get the weight that you wanted on the last one, etc., you maintained being very, very composed. Now, I know you mentioned your coach and training at your gym and how much that prepared you. What do you think the number one thing that you did prior to being here contributed the most to you being able to maintain your composure throughout the entire meet? Because a lot of people, it kind of breaks them down because mentally this is a difficult meet. What did you guys do? What do you think the number one thing was for you guys to maintain your composure?
For me, I was just happy to be here. So regardless of how the meet went, I was happy that I made it this far. I had an immense amount of support from my friends and my family, keeping me calm. As well as Paul, like we met on the plane, we were training together. It helped me feel like I was in a more natural place, like back home at the gym with my friends instead of out here in Romania on the world's platform. So I mean, that's how I did it.
I think a big thing is mindset. You got to come in and be very focused on what you're doing and your form and taking it slow, because nerves are definitely up right before you start, and when you walk into that platform and see the cameras and the judges and all the people, you're in the stage, everybody's looking at you, a lot of nerves. You just have to just focus on what you're doing and focus on you and not about anything else, keeping it internal and just to keep going. Eventually it's going to be over and you'll be done, so just work as hard as you can and give everything you got until the end, because then you can just relax.
Just make the most of it.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any more questions for Trevor or Jacob? Anyone else in the audience want to ask any questions? Okay. The last question that I'll ask then for each of you is just what's next?
Good.
Okay. I just talked to my coach, Jim Brown, not too long ago, and the next step for me will be nationals in mid-March in Austin, Texas. I think that'll be the next meet for me. So definitely probably my longest prep, which will be good to get more experience under my belt, and I'm just preparing for that. Get to see what a new age group is. I know by the time that happens, I'll be technically 19 in terms of IPF and Powerlifting America, so I'll be moved up into the junior age division and get ready to see and prepare and research all the competition going against me there.
For me, it's going to be my winter and spring track seasons. Like, that's going to be my big focus. College, obviously, college applications. And then high school nationals mid to late April is going to be next for me in powerlifting, just working on form, adding to my total, hopefully, bringing as best as I can for that platform.
And Trevor, you'll be back as a sub-junior?
Yeah.
Next year for IPA? Awesome.
I missed the cutoff by 3 days, so.
Awesome. That's fantastic. All right. Well, we're really proud of both of you and your performances, and we can't wait to see what you do next. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have two of our junior lifters. We've got Connor Heim in the 83s, and we've got Paul Harayo in the 120s. First of all, congratulations to both of you. Connor, we've got you up here. You missed the press conference the other day because I'm sure you were extremely tired after your performance. But congratulations on your great performance in the 83s. Let's start with you. Refresh our memory on what happened in the 83 kilo junior division and how the day unfolded for you, starting with being in the sauna all night. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that was, I knew it was going to be a tough weight cut. It was similar to what I did for PA Nats. But it's one of those things that flight does affect things, and I wasn't sure how that was going to affect it. And I found myself in the sauna the night before trying to make sure I was getting closer to weight, and I woke up about 4 pounds over. So I knew I probably needed to go back, and I went back, cut those additional pounds, and ended up making weight by about just under half a kilo. So obviously not optimal, but ended up getting it done. As for how the day went, starting with squats, in the last couple of weeks of my training, I had a nagging hip injury that I've been trying to handle, and because of that, I went to the meet, and warm-ups felt really rough. We ended up opening, I think, at 240, which was about 10 kilos less than what we planned, but our opener moved so darn quick that it gave us the confidence to be able to jump 10 kilos and then 10 kilos again. It was something we noticed, so we kind of took what was there, but chose not to push it super hard as to not affect the rest of the meet. In terms of bench press, the prep for bench press was absolutely phenomenal. Added 7.5 kilos from Nats, and it's like it awoke from a deep slumber finally. And I think my third attempt here moved significantly faster than my third attempt at nationals. So I think that that's definitely trending in the right direction. In deadlifts, after bench, I found myself right in contention for gold. So we planned our opening deadlift to kind of play around what others were doing to make sure we were pulling after some of the other bigger pullers, so we could see what to pull for our second, so no one would have the deadlift advantage on us. But deadlifts, unfortunately, didn't really feel as good as I would have liked them to feel on the day. In my second attempt, was, despite it being a difficult lift, locked it out and received 3 red cards for it on, I believe, lockout, which was it was a heartbreaking lift. But moving into thirds, we had the choice of adding 2.5 kilos, which I'm pretty confident we could have hit, or loading up 15 and going for the gold. And I found the option of going out and just fighting and saying, what if? I knew that throughout my entire prep, the number in mind for deadlift was 330. And on the day, that's exactly what we had to load for the win, and it just wasn't there. It was it was more than what I had in store, which was, obviously we would have liked to have come away with the win there, but I think I can walk away knowing that I didn't leave any energy out there. I didn't walk away with any energy left in store. I truly felt like I gave everything I had. And despite not PRing my total, I think I walked away quite satisfied with the effort put forth and optimistic, I think, for the future.
That's great to hear. I know that you were really upset, right after it had happened, but now I'm glad to hear that looking back on it, you're proud of the performance that you put in, the hard work you put in to get here. So that's really great to hear. Paul, let's move over to you. Let's do the same thing. Take us through how it was making weight and then going through the day for you.
Okay. Making weight wasn't that an issue at all. I was coming in from a lower weight class in a different federation. So filling up the 120s, making weight was not an issue at all. I was about 5 kilos under on the day. So once I finished my weigh-ins, I knew I had to be confident going into the meet. Going into this meet, there were many big lifters. And I knew that I needed to bring out my best. So starting off the day on squats, it went perfectly. Went 3 for 3, hit a huge personal PR as well as a meet PR with 340, and also securing the gold for squats. From then on, I knew that I still had to do perfectly on bench and deadlift. Unfortunately, I missed my thirds on bench and deadlift due to strength. But at the end of the day, I did what I could to fight for the highest placing I can get. And considering that my first time at Worlds, I'm very proud of myself for the performance that I put out. Also considering 2 years ago I bombed out of my first meet, and then now 2 years later I'm on the world stage. I'd consider that great progress. And overall, my performance I feel like was the best I could put out, and I still finished top 5 in a very deep, heavily stacked 120 kilo class.
Congratulations, man. We're also extremely proud of your performance, and it makes me really happy that you're also very proud of it. Next up, we're going to have Tom ask you a question.
So I'm going to try something interesting here. This question is for both of you, and what I'd like you to do, if possible, is sort of bullet point back and forth, real quick answers. If you could, very few people in the world ever compete in an athletic event at the highest level on a world stage. If you could bullet point what it's like physically, emotionally, culturally, everything that sort of you've experienced from the time leaving to get here up till now, and it can be one-word answers, it can be phrases, whatever, just going back and forth describing what it's like to someone who has never had this experience before.
I think I can start it off. I think the first word that comes to mind, at least going into the meet, is restless. I spoke to a lot of individuals, and almost everyone I've spoken to has said that in the days prior to competing, a lot of people struggled to find ways to go to sleep. Us being, significant ways away from the United States, so that was an issue I think a lot of people had to battle through, and being able to handle that fatigue going into a competition.
I'd also say that it was very hectic. Coming in here and having to kind of figure out where everything was, and also on top of that, getting yourself mentally prepared for the flight, and then getting yourself mentally prepared for every single lift. your mind has to be going as fast as you can to be able to figure out what attempts you do, remember all the cues you need to figure out, remember for each lift, and just thinking about everything you need to prepare and get set for when you step on the platform. I felt that I had to be always thinking really quickly. So I'd say it was very hectic.
Yeah, another thing is with that hectic nature, trying to manage the variables. So all the little things that can go, on during a meet, whether that be attempt selection, what ifs if something doesn't feel good, what ifs if something feels really good, how's your food situation looking, are you properly hydrated, do you have your electrolytes, do you have your caffeine? Being able to manage these things going into a meet and throughout a meet and having this stuff pre-planned, it's just the little things that add up that give you a competitive edge and really help you perform at your best, especially, at a world's level.
Following up on that question, what did it mean to you both, this is a question for both of you, to represent your country on the biggest platform in powerlifting?
So for me, I don't think I've ever been more proud. I'm very proud to be an American citizen. I love my country, and I am so grateful to be able to represent the country that I love, and to be able to compete on a stage and do my best to be able to represent the USA. I think the best way I could put it, it is the greatest honor that I have ever had, and truly something I'll never forget.
And I have very similar feelings to that. Coming from a family who are all immigrants, my parents came to America from the Philippines about 20 years ago, and to be able to represent the country that they immigrated to and became proud citizens of, it's an indescribable feeling to be able to represent the United States of America. I'm very proud to have had this opportunity, and it's just I can't even explain the feeling.
And similarly, what was it like, knowing that you're representing your country and going up against competitors that are also representing their countries? And it's not just like lifter against lifter, but it's like nation against nation. Did you feel that it was different than going to like nationals or any other type of meet that you've been to before?
Yeah. I know personally when I was looking at other competitors, it really felt like we're competing to show other countries that we are, how we want to represent our country on a global stage and show the quality of our lifters, to represent our country in the best way we can. Going into this, a lot of my competition, coming from Western Europe, I really wanted to show that the USA is not just, the past and the present. The USA is the future, and it starts with us. And, I hear on King of the Lifts, France has got shooters. Well, we got shooters too. And I wanted to make everyone know it. But, and that's, I think personally, it made me want to fight even harder. Personally,
Going into this meet, obviously I understood that I was representing the United States, and that completely changed my mindset for the meet, understanding that I'm competing for my country, for the community I lived in. But at the end of the day, the way I thought about it was I was competing for myself. And the way I presented myself on the stage, if I were to live for myself and purely for myself, then they'll understand, okay, that's what it's like to live for the United States. I needed to have a lot of pride in the way I lifted. I needed to make sure that I played my own game, that going into this meet, I wasn't going to play these other countries' games, other lifters' games. I had to come in with my own plan and base things on how I wanted to play it out to get the best total I can get for myself. Seeing these other countries compete, it was it really pushed me forward as a lifter.
And besides the competition itself, in the warm-up room and the performance that you put on the platform, what can you say about the overall experience of being at these World Championships?
It was the overall experience. It was my first year competing, and there's nothing like it. My goal is to be able to experience it again, but it's kind of hard to put into words exactly how I feel about the experience. There's a lot of different things that come to mind when trying to explain it. So it's a bit hard for me to kind of exactly put it directly into words.
Did you feel like you made bonds, new bonds, like with your teammates or with lifters from other countries or with the people that you traveled here with?
Yes, definitely. Especially with the 120 sub-junior Trevor. We met coming in, and we hung out most of the time while we were here, and I was able to make a great friend out of him. And once I was on the platform, obviously we're trying to, my competitors and I were trying to one up each other, but at the end of the day, it's like a brotherhood. Although we're here to one up one another, we are also here to improve upon ourselves. And I was able to make some great connections with some of the other lifters as well.
And Connor, same question.
To answer the first part, this whole experience has been unlike anything I've ever been through. The stresses were higher than ever, the highs were higher than ever, and the lows were lower than ever. It really took the extremes of all scales, and honestly, I wouldn't have had it any other way. And I look forward to the opportunity to do it again sometime in the future. As for bonds, I think it all kind of starts with the flights, because when we're all stuck on these ridiculously long flights from the United States all the way here, you hang around a lot with the same people, and getting here and not knowing a whole lot of people. I showed up here knowing, I think, 2 people, and left knowing many more than that, making close friends. And I've hung out with Peyton and Shane, and really glad I got to know them. Very cool guys. So overall, I think the bonds that have been forged along the way have been fantastic, and I look forward to seeing these guys again, at open Nats in the future, and hopefully open worlds again. And this whole experience it's been surreal. It's almost like a fever dream.
And just to add on top of that, from my own experience, I was blessed to have the opportunity to even have my girlfriend come with me as well, to be able to spend the time, travel outside the country with her. This past week has been amazing, and even being able to come out with one of my own athletes as well that I helped coach through her meet, getting to know her and her mom better as well. That just adds on top of the experience.
Are there any other questions? Yeah. We're going to go to Paul's girlfriend, Ray.
Hi, guys. So question is, what's one highlight you have of your own performance? And also like a highlight from either a country, a certain athlete, or even a competitor for you guys?
One highlight for me is definitely getting gold in the squat. I knew squat's always been my best lift, so knowing that my best lift is up to par, or actually it was the best in the whole world, it's just crazy to even think about. And a highlight kind of relating to a different lifter is the lifter in my session that won first place. We actually warmed up together in the back room, and kind of seeing how he progressed through the meet, it helped me push myself even harder as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think a highlight that I can take away from myself was definitely, I know I kind of touched on it earlier, but was my bench press. Bench is coming a long way for me, and I'm glad it's finally turning around after all these years. So very happy about that. In terms of highlights I noticed around, I think two kind of stand out for me in particular. I know Daisy, we've competed at 3 meets in the last, 6 months? So seeing it for the 3rd time, and it's beyond impressive every time. So I'd say that is definitely a highlight. And I think another one I would say is Alex. I lifted in the same session with, and seeing him absolutely blow up his squat and take silver on that was, he took a step forward. He took a step forward from Nats, and he definitely brought it. And I think that was another thing that stood out to me. A big highlight from Alex.
Those are great answers. If there are no other questions, the last question that I want to just ask is, how fired up did this competition get you for the future, and what do you plan to do next?
It's being able to get this competition finished. It's like a breath of fresh air. This past year, kind of constantly be thinking about this competition. It's really taken a toll on my mental health. So being able to kind of, so moving forward, I'm going to take a break from competing for a while. And whenever I feel like I'm ready, then I'll get back onto the platform.
Okay, and Connor?
Yeah, for me, this last year has been a lot. I think I've done 3 meets in the last 6 months now, and I have found that the meets that I was less successful in were the ones I learned more from. I competed for my Nats qualifier and absolutely dropped the ball. And I'm so glad I did, because I completely turned it around for nationals and put together a performance I was incredibly proud of. Here, I think I definitely improved from nationals, despite my total dropping slightly because of my second deadlift. But I feel like I have a direction to go. And I think I know what changes can be made. I know where I'm going to need to improve going forward in order to be competitive, or at least more competitive with the Opens. I'm not entirely sure what's next in store. I know that I'm going to continue lifting with PA, and I'd like to be competing at nationals. I'm not sure if that's going to be in the 83s or the 93s. Maybe I'll try 93s for a little bit so I don't have to make an 18-pound weight cut next time. So maybe I'll try that. But I'm excited for the opportunity to battle so I can get back here again.
That's amazing. Those are great answers. We're extremely proud of you guys. You guys really performed well. You represented your country well. We know how much this competition meant to you. And so that's why we try to pull out all the stops here and really put you on a pedestal. And I hope you feel that way. I hope you feel the appreciation back from Powerlifting America. And with that, we'll let you go. Congratulations. Okay, up next, we have the world champion, Luella Bowden, in the sub-junior 84-plus category. Luella, you are on an absolute hot streak right now. You won the Open National Championships in the 84 plus earlier this year. You won the North American Powerlifting Championships in the Open division like 3 weeks ago, where you broke a world record squat. And then now you're here at the Sub Junior World Championships, where you won again and are now a world champion in the Sub Juniors. First of all, just how does it feel?
This whole time, like this whole year, since I've started competing, I've just been like, this is unreal. It doesn't feel real. But right now it feels so real to be able to sit here, to be in Romania, and to have competed. It's just like, this is what I'm here, like this is what I did all of this work for. And it just feels so rewarding to be able to be here and to do it.
And Luella's joined up here by her coach, the head ball coach, as I like to call him, of the Powerlifting America Junior and Sub-Junior National Team, John Burford. And John, is there anything that you want to just say off the top about how proud you are of her performance yesterday?
I was extremely proud. I was fortunate enough to be at the NAPF Championships, where Luella also had an amazing performance. And then to come to Romania and also put up another great performance. But this time she had to face quite a bit of adversity with missing her first 2 squats. They were red light, or the first one she got, but then it was overturned by the jury for depth. The second one, 2 red lights, and tried to get that one overturned, but no luck there. So it came down to her final squat to get in the meet. And, I think something that often gets overlooked at this World Championship in particular is, we're dealing with young kids, and they find themselves in these hugely stressful situations of having such lofty goals and expectations for themselves, and these, missing your first 2 squats. I mean, there's nothing more stressful than missing your first 2 squats at a world championship. But Luella did phenomenal. She was able to just kind of bring it back to basics, back to her training, and really just committed to the 3rd squat, really just nailed a great depth, stood up with it, and got the white lights for the lift. So that's just a very gutsy thing to be able to do. And then from there, it was just kind of business as usual, go on to bench, and then go on to deadlift, and just keep making attempts and put up a big total. Luella's got an extremely bright future that I can't wait to see. And also one of the things I noticed about it, and it just stood out to me, during her squats, when she needed to get in the meet still, she was just cheering on all her teammates, and that's pretty special to see someone just not thinking about herself, and really just wanting the best for her teammates, even while she's facing such a difficult situation of her own. So my hat's off to her. She made me proud, and I think she made herself proud, her family proud, country. I mean, everybody should be proud of this young lady.
We definitely are extremely proud of you, Luella. What was going through your mind when you missed those first 2 squats and you were getting ready for the 3rd one?
Honestly, I was like, this is it. This is what's going to define my powerlifting career. I was mostly panicking because we weren't expecting to miss the first lift. A goal that we wanted was to hit 600, and I going through the warm-ups, like everything felt so good. I got up to 235, and I thought that it was going to be like, okay, I've done an international meet. I can hit depth, and I can move on, go up to 260, 273, and it's going to be great. Wasn't exactly the case. But I knew that after the first and second one, I had to make depth. I had to listen to my coaches and not be so stubborn and be like, you know what, I don't even want to do this anymore. Like, I had to make adjustments, and I had to really just focus on the lift, not the numbers. And like Coach said, go back to basics. Just go through the form, go down, go back up. So it was mostly a lot of like trying to calm myself down and just focus on the one lift that I have to make. And I made it somehow.
Well, you handled it like a champ for sure. Even more specifically, your first squat, I believe it got 2 white lights. Is that right, John? And then it was overturned by the jury. So how does that feel when you get that big sigh of relief, like, oh, I got a squat on the board, and it felt great. You blew it up. Obviously, the weight wasn't a problem for you at all. And then to have the jury overturn it, and you find out when you're back in the warm-up room.
It was really disheartening. It was a little bit crushing to be like, okay, that flew. That felt super good. I got my 2 white lights that I needed. This is great. Now I can move on with my other squats. But yeah, going back and hearing like they overturned it, I was really just like stuck in a little bit of disbelief, because it's like I already made it. But yeah, just like hearing it was a bit of a bit of a shock. I've had some problems with depth before, but just to have the jury look over it again, review it, and be like, yeah, this is no good, that was a little bit, that broke my heart a little bit, but I had to keep going forward.
And was there any thought of going up in weight after, the first and second ones, or even after the first one, after you made it fly so quick?
I don't know. At the time, I definitely wanted to go up in weight. I wanted to be like, screw it. If I can't hit 245, then I just have to go up and like make it easier to go down. But I'm glad that we stuck with it, and I'm glad that I got what I got, because I know that if I had gone up, I would have just been more disappointed. So yeah, like I really just wanted to be like, you know what, after the second one, I'm just gonna hit 600 now. And that was definitely just the part of me that was super stubborn and was just like, I'm over it. But I'm glad that I didn't request it. I'm glad that my coaches definitely wouldn't have let me do it. Like my personal coach was like, we have to hit this first one or we aren't going up at all. And I'm just glad that we were able to stick with that weight.
Hi, Luella. So we've talked a lot about your squats and a lot about failing your squats, but I think it would be silly of us not to mention that you had quite literally a fantastic day after that. You had a world record squat. I think you went 3 for 3 on deadlift, correct? Yes. So can you just kind of walk us through how getting the world record on bench was? You're battling it out with your other teammate for that record, how deadlifts went, how when you knew that you locked in first place, how that felt, and then standing on the podium. I mean, it's no secret you could see that you were feeling all the feels while the national anthem was playing, and I would love to hear more about that.
All right. Yeah, just after like my final squat, I was like, okay, we're in it now, time to refocus. But yeah, going into bench, we did go a little bit safe to not overwhelm my body with my first lift. But our goal really was to come here, try and fight for the bench world record. So yeah, we just warmed up, and it, like, after the anxiety of squat, it was like, okay, bench time, I can do this. I know that I can do bench. So it was really just like taking an opportunity to do what I know I can do. And then deadlift, after I got my first deadlift, I was like, okay, great, the total is set. I can just try and finish this meet the best that I can. And it wasn't exactly the highest total that I've had. It wasn't, the biggest deadlift I've ever had, but just knowing that I made it, I got my total, I've locked in first place. It was truly just like a huge, just like wave of relief, just like washing over me, because it's done now. The competition is over.
So we know you didn't get all the numbers that you were kind of expecting going in, and you just said, it's not the best meet ever, but you were the best lifter of the meet. Like, how does that feel, knowing that you still had more in the tank, but you still achieved this goal that maybe you did or didn't have? I don't know. Were you surprised? How does that feel to know that you were the best lifter of the meet?
It was a goal that we had, definitely, but watching the 52s and 57s go, we were like holding our breath a lot, because Chloe Tang from Singapore, she had such an amazing performance, and her GL points were going to be hard to beat. So yeah, we were trying to calculate our total the best we could, to be like, what can we get that will get us best lifter? Because it's pretty hard for bigger lifters to, get best lifter. GL points aren't always in our favor. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm not exactly a model, not exactly a beautiful, sensual vixen at all. But just knowing that I was able to go out there as a bigger lifter and put up make big enough lifts to get the best sub-junior girl lifter of the meet, it was really just such a rewarding feeling to be like, I can still be the best at my size with the lifts that I had.
Luella, you took home the gold medal in the squat, you took home the gold medal in the bench, and you took home a world record in the bench. You now own the world record squat from the North American Championships, the world record bench from here. You're a world champion. Which of all these accomplishments means the most to you?
That's hard to say, because I all of them are just so amazing to me, and still so just perplexing to think about. But I would have to say my world record squat, just because that was the goal from the very beginning. As soon as we found out that, I could potentially break a world record that hasn't been broken in a while, we wanted to really just jump on that and try our hardest to break it. So going to NAPF and being able to, just make the one goal that we wanted this whole year, it was just such a wonderful experience, and just completing that lift really just made it also worth it.
And I know we're at the Sub-Junior World Championships right now, but we didn't do press conferences at the North American Powerlifting Championships. Just coming from there 3 weeks ago, can you explain how the atmosphere was when you hit your world record squat over there?
It was, wow, it was just so electric. I had never heard a crowd that loud before. I've never been in such a loud and just supportive place. just hearing so many people from different countries that I had I'd never seen before, and so many voices at once, like cheering for me. It was just such an exhilarating like moment and such a loud place to be. Like the whole room just like shaking with like this excitement and this want to see like a world record. Like I've never seen that before, and it was just so surreal.
So John, as the head coach of all of these sub-junior, junior teams, I guess to kind of wrap up the week and a half weeks we've had here in Romania, just tell us, I guess, your final thoughts on, the equipped team, the raw team, just everything that you've seen take place with Powerlifting America's teams the last 2 weeks.
I'm exhausted. I mean, we got here last Tuesday, and then competition started on Thursday, and it's basically been 6 a.m. to 8, 9 o'clock at night every day, with one session going straight into the other session. I can't thank the coaching staff enough. During each session, obviously requires a good number of coaches, but then it also requires coaches to get the second session ready, from equipment check to weigh-ins, to starting to warm up. The sessions were scheduled pretty tight to where the deadlifts of the previous session are kind of still going on when the next session needs to start warming up for squats. None of it would be possible without all of the coaches. I thought everyone did a phenomenal job, and then all the athletes. I mean, it was truly a pleasure this year working with all of them. The thing that really stood out to me is, they're good people. They have a passion for lifting. It was a pleasure to work with all the athletes. Obviously with any kind of large team, that there's highs and there's lows, but I think there's more highs than lows this year. We're bringing home some team titles, so that's always great. Bringing the golds home back to the U.S. Bringing the best lifter back to the U.S. And then also, I hope all these athletes had a great experience, and I can't wait to do it again next year in Malta. And I'm just excited with the direction that this is going. Personally, I don't think Powerlifting America and the U.S. should ever lose again. I mean, we've got such amazing talent in the U.S. We just got to get them to nationals and get them to worlds, and so we can really showcase everything of what we got. The team we brought today is great, and but it's just the tip of the iceberg for us.
That's a great answer. So